I'm Dr. Angie Bexley from the Crawford School of Public Policy at the Australian National University. The government of Indonesia has rich data on poverty. We know that the poor have lower income, lower educational attainment, and poorer health outcomes. The results from the IDM complement existing data across 15 dimensions of poverty to provide nuanced, disaggregated data on gender, age, disability, and location. This information can assist policymakers to better meet the RPGMN targets, in particular on women, disability, the elderly, and isolated areas. The IDM results can also help the government report on the SDG targets. It can also help local governments input data for the unified database. In 2018, a team from the ANU undertook a study in South Sulawesi. The survey itself was implemented by a local Indonesian firm, SurveyMeter. The design of the study responded to policymakers in the Regency of Pangkajane and the Islands and the Regency of Jeneponto, who were interested specifically in data on the isolated islands region and disability. Over 5,600 women and men were surveyed across both districts. The IDM results can fill existing data gaps about poverty across different stages of life, poverty experienced by men and women with disability, poverty experienced by people in isolated areas, such as the islands region of Pangkajane. Using the Government of Indonesia age categories, the research shows that while all age groups experience deprivation, different deprivations are more acute at different stages of life. For young people, poverty is characterised by uncertainty over housing, a lack of voice, and poor mental health. In midlife, different deprivations begin to emerge. The burdens of care, unpaid domestic work, and paid work create a time deprivation. While men and women are time deprived in midlife, women carry the greatest burden for unpaid domestic and care work, regardless of whether they are in paid employment or not. Women's access to sanitary products during menstruation is an issue not often assessed when measuring poverty. But it is essential for women's levels of deprivation, including their health, well-being, and levels of social inclusion. Women in the middle age have the least access to sanitary products. People over 60 are a particularly vulnerable group in society. Weak social support can lead to isolation, which can compound poverty for older people. They were less likely to attend community events, have adequate clothing, and also had less access to energy. In the IDM study, the Washington Group short set questions were asked to identify women and men with disability. The results of the IDM show that women and men with disability are deprived across every aspect measured. Food insecurity is a major issue of concern for people with disability, in terms of both quantity and quality. The IDM results show that women with disability experience acute deprivation across 6 of these variables. Men experience more deprivation on 2 of the variables. Women and men with disability also carry heavy time and work burdens. Over 47% of those with disability reported the double burden of paid and unpaid work. Women with disability bore a disproportional load, with over half of women and 37% of men with disability worked in both paid and unpaid work. While women with disability accessed health services more than people without disability, women in particular found more problems with the healthcare they received. Finally, the study revealed striking differences between rural and urban locations in relation to the deprivation experienced. Water, energy, and educational outcomes are worse in rural areas. However, the deprivation is deepest in the islands, in terms of food security, health services, and water. For example, 93% of individuals surveyed in the islands reported no access to clean drinking water, with women slightly worse off than men. Overall, the information from the IDM study provides insight into key issues to be addressed in terms of infrastructure and services for those living in isolated areas. It also provides insight into the quality of services that do exist. The IDM results identify which groups are deprived and the ways in which deprivation results in multidimensional poverty. The IDM is measured at the individual level, and this enables identification of which social groups across age, gender, and geographic location reveal patterns of poverty. Policymakers can use this information to develop policy that addresses multidimensional poverty in order to meet the RPGMN targets and also the SDG targets to alleviate poverty and ensure nobody is left behind.